Hey everyone, it's Johnny here from Bustle, and today I'm going to be taking you through Bustle Staffing shifts. This is a video that's going to take you a little bit more in depth into how shifts work, and so you get a better understanding of all the different little widgets and different graphs that are appearing, and also some of the key buttons to make it sort of faster and smoother for you to use. So to begin with, we're in the staffing area under shifts. Now, I'll quickly point out, I've made an assumption that you've already set up your staff members and put in some email addresses and price points, etc. So if you haven't done that, please go and watch the video about staff members. Jumping into shifts, here's the week I'm looking to create is the 6th of July to the 12th. And you can see here, my starting point is, do I want to copy last week, start fresh, or copy from another week? Now, because of this is an education one, I'm going to start with a blank one so we can start from scratch. When it first loads up, what you'll notice is a few little different graphs. The first one here is the estimated revenue for the week, $770. Now, of course, my cafe is pretty average. It's a dummy cafe, so yours will hopefully be a lot more flourishing than that. And you'll start to see the estimated revenue per hour. So this is the average revenue you make on these hours across the week. You can go and break that down to Monday, Tuesday, and see the actual day's turnover. But this gives you an average for every hour across the week. And from there, it allows us to start to build the labor cost relating to these hours of operation. So I'm going to begin to launch us with making a first shift for the day. So you've got one option, which is use the add shift button at the top here, where we can add. And I'm going to sort of say this person's going to start at 7 a.m., finish at 1, and the role is going to be a duty manager. Now, first off, I can see that Caroline has been opted up to me, and that's because Caroline has been set up as a duty manager. So I can click Caroline, double check that hourly rate is correct, and hit save. And we've now got our first person on the shift for Monday. I can then go maybe and say I need someone else to come and help during this little peak time. And this is a drag and drop functionality. So by dragging the start to the end time, you can see it's automatically gone 9 to 12. And I'm going to say I'm going to need a barista. And I've now got 3 options of baristas available on that day to come and work. So I can do James B, see the hours, and go good to go. And you'll start to see that little yellow line popping up, and that's starting to show the cost of labor per hour. And I can now see it's about $53 per hour to have this team of 2 on, and I can start to see my average turnover, expected revenue that's coming through to make sure I've got enough staff to cover. So I'm probably looking a little bit just okay here, but of course very light here. And once again, that's because I've got a bit of a random sales data coming through from my imaginary cafe. Okay. If you needed to go through and change something, it's as easy as clicking on a person's name and suddenly I can change it to Claude, etc., and switch it around. What you can also do is you may, of course, want the same people across different days. Now, one option is the drag and drop as we did. The other option is you click on the Caroline shift and you'll see a duplicate button. That just means we can duplicate, and we go to Tuesday, and I can go save. And there we go. So that shift's been carried through. I can do the same with the Claude. I can go duplicate. But this time I might actually be not Claude, I'm going to put James on it. And there we go. And et cetera, et cetera. And that's how you start to build out the entire roster for the week. You'll start to see a few little widgets like 2 staff, 9 hours, 243. That's giving you a summary of the total number of hours being worked and the total cost it's going to be. You'll also start to see something like here, like this little revenue estimate. And naturally, again, because my cafe is a little bit random, this estimate should be starting to tell you what is the total cost of staff compared to turnover for that day. So right now, I'm at a 264 staff cost for Tuesday. And that's probably because if I go to Tuesday, my revenue is sitting there and it was a little bit off. Something is not quite right with the sort of number of hours versus revenue, etc. So once we've got everything looking well, we can hit the publish button. Now, when we publish, you'll have the staff members who already had their emails confirmed, we're good to go, and you'll have those who don't have emails confirmed. It's up to you if you want to go and get them done before you publish it, or you might want to chase them up. But basically, these 2 staff members aren't going to receive the email with the roster in it, just so you know. We hit publish and we're done, and it's away we go. Now from there, we can view the published roster to just double check. And this is what your team will be seeing. They'll see a link in their email address that'll take them to this page, and they can see all staff, or they can filter based on their names and see what shifts they're doing themselves. Excuse me. From there, Naturally, staff will probably call you and say they need to change something because they can't make a shift or they're switching around. What happens there is you come into the shift again, you click on the staff member who needs to make a change. In this case, let's say it's James, the barista, who needs to make a change, and you flick it over to Bob, hit save, and we can republish that roster. Now that's going to send a republish out, and now you can see Bob's on there. It's going to republish that, send it to them all so they know there's been a change. And of course, that you can see where we've got James there. If I refresh that, now Bob has appeared in that shift that we were missing. That's basically the sort of key to elements to this. You'll also, as you build it up, you'll start to see this widget slowly evolve and give you a much better understanding of like your expected wages percentage to revenue. So you can see here, I'm already sitting at a 37.9% wage bill for my expected revenue. That's hopefully maybe going to give you the insight to be like, well, maybe I do need to actually maybe Caroline needs to actually start at 7:15 or 7:30 just to try and bring down that cost. And you can see I'm starting to break it down and be like, okay, I probably need to do the same on, where it was Monday. I can do the same there, and we'll be like 7:30, etc. And I think there was one other day. Oh, those are the 2 days we had. And you can see I'm sort of struggling there because this is my total for the week. But if I go back to Tuesday, I'm getting that sort of close to 35. If I was targeting 30% revenue wage bill, I know I'm going to have to get some sales higher if I'm going to make that work. Or I'm going to have to make sure my staff are a little bit more tighter in the hours that they're operating. From there, guys, I'm going to jump into what happens when you're going to make a new roster for the next week. So let's say you're trying to do 2 rosters. I've built this one out and it's all looking good. I might have the exact same roster the following week. So I can click up here and go to the next week's roster. And like we saw at the very beginning, I had the chance to just copy last week's roster or actually copy one from a previous week in case maybe you had a previous setup you were into. But really what I can do is click on that button. It's done automatically. And then I hit publish and publish. And just like that, the roster is out the door and you're already set for the day. So it's hopefully a much faster way to recreate rosters when you need them. You can also start to see that the graphs will change because my revenue might have changed on my estimations, etc. And in this case, it's definitely got very high revenue costs considering my estimated turnover is not looking great in the weeks later coming through. And that's mainly because I haven't done any sales next week. So it doesn't look too good when you're doing too far ahead, but it'll start to catch up. But however, in saying that, the longer you've had with us, the more these will make more sense because you've got the back data to make the estimations on. So it sort of starts to play out as you get more into it. All right. I do hope that was insightful, but if there are questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. We're also very keen to get some feedback on how you think we can make this even more powerful, more useful to you, and ideas on like what little graphs or what widgets might just give you a bit more insight into how your business is operating, especially when it comes to the cost of wages. Cool. Talk soon.